I have to press record.
Oh, right,
because I can't do anything else.
You can definitely see me.
Yeah, I can definitely see you.
Right, okay.
I can see you and I can see me. Okay, we're live. We're roving. So it's raving.
Well, we're not doing much roving at the moment.
No, we will be roving. Right, so we'll be roving and raving on the rock, okay? Gordon the Gopher.
Go for it. Go for it. And Dave the Rave.
Roving
round the rock, yeah.
Okay.
Eventually.
Where are we today, Gordon the Gopher?
We are at a Machrie tea room, which seems quite busy.
Very busy. A lot of cars.
Golfers, folk having tea and lunch. So yeah, looking quite busy.
A solid line of cars all the way along. Such a massive car park and it's completely crammed with cars.
So
surprise.
Are you going to ask me why we're at Machrie tea room?
Why are we at Machrie tea room?
Because we're not golfing and we're not having tea and it's gone, so why are we at Machrie tea room?
Actually, I would be taking tea if I had the chance to take tea, because I always do. And also, I would add, 11s and Tiffin sounds quite promising as well. If we're allowed Tiffin anymore, I think Tiffin would be quite nice in the Machrie tea room or elsewhere. But we're not. We're here for more serious purposes.
Yeah, but we're cycling today. So what I was going to say was that one of the things that a lot of cyclists do is when they go cycling is they stop somewhere for cake and tea or coffee.
Oh, right.
So technically, after we've done whatever we're going to do, again, I've given a bit of a clue to what we're going to do today. We could obviously have gone in for cake and tea afterwards.
We could do.
If we are not too wet and...
Probably.
You know.
But that's the intention. But
we'll see.
We might get a little bit wet because it looks quite showery.
Yeah, there's a heavy shower just as I started off, but all the way to about Lacranza, and then it dried up, so here's hoping.
There was a downpour just when I was leaving to come here, but then it's been dry ever since, so it might be, as usual, that it's rainier on the other side, like it was Brodick that was the rainiest, and that usually is.
Right.
Lacranza is very rainy as well, by the way.
So anyway, why are we here? Look, you're going to answer me.
Oh, you can carry on. Just carry on. You're doing well.
Why are we at Machrie tea room?
Why?
Well, we're at Machrie tea room. We've got certain reasons why. I think the main reason why is because the road between Corrie and Sannox is closed.
Yep. So
if we wanted to go for a run, I would have to drive all the way around this way, and if we want to go and run like Brodick, you know, it's a long way,
disastrous.
And I'd have to drive all the way back, so we're talking mega extra mileage.
You're cut off from the whole rest of the island. So
we kind of decided that
meet in the middle.
Because you've been doing a bit of cycling, I like a bit of cycling now and again, so we'll do a wee cycle over here, and then it's like we're meeting halfway.
We're meeting halfway because you're going up north from Sannox through Lacranza and Catcall and everything to Machrie, and I went up from Whiting Bay to Brodick and across the string to Machrie.
So it took me about 40 minutes.
It took me just over 30.
Right, so that's not bad.
There was a traffic light on the Brodick hill, but it wasn't a bad one. It was quite a quick change. But I would say this though. Well, this is part of Arran life. So for people who don't get it, if they don't live here, if you live in the mainland, basically wherever you get a road closed, there's another road you can use and you can go around it.
Not much of an extra detour.
No, it's a minor inconvenience usually for the people in the mainland. There's lots of roads everywhere. Here, there's one road. So when it's closed, which I appreciate have to be, so it's not a complaint because you want the roads worked on and getting fixed and all that kind of stuff. It's just a fact of life. When the road has to be fixed and closed, there isn't an alternative. You have to turn around and go the other direction. So if you're going south, you have to go north, and there's nothing else you can do about that.
Yeah, but you can, if say down the south end, you could go over the string and round rather than going down south. So it's, but when, like this road closure for me is quite,
it's a big deal.
It's a big detour. I mean, I'd say
because your work's in Brodick and your shop's in Brodick.
If I'm going to Brodick, that's about 6 miles.
Yeah.
So with the road closure, to get to Brodick, I reckon
30.
Well, no, I'd say 30 to. Well, let's say
more?
Take 6 miles. I'd say it's about 40 miles round trip.
Yeah.
So I reckon you're talking about 34 miles
Yep.
to do the round trip to Brodick.
And that's just to get to work?
That would be, yes.
So how long is it shut for?
It's 2 days between Corrie and Sannox, and then after that it says 6 days between Corrie and Brodick.
Wow.
But I think the weekend, that includes weekend, so I don't think they're working the weekend, so it might be closed 4 days, so it could be closed about 6 days altogether.
Yeah, big deal. It occurred to me, if it was shut in Corrie, you could drive to Corrie and then just walk to Sannox. That might be easier than driving 40 miles.
It doesn't fit me too bad because I'm actually off a lot of the days.
That's good.
So it's not so bad. There's 1 or 2 days which obviously, I'll just work around it. I start before 8 o'clock, so I can get in and then I'll have to decide what I'm going to do coming back. So it's not too bad because I'm off quite a few days.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's a big deal though.
Just like get to the shop, like I popped into Perm Mill Stores on the way here because
that's your local
I needed
store.
one. Well, it's a local store, which is how far away from Sannox?
20
14, 12 miles, 14 miles. Anyway, I popped in there first time for, I think,
a long time.
A long time, because I needed something, which I thought obviously I can't go down to the shop in Brodick, so I popped in there on the way past.
Nice shop.
It's good. It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in there. I thought it was nice, and it goes back quite a bit as well. It's very, very handy. They're lucky to have it. That's for sure.
So that's the kind of background.
That's the background.
We're into. So as I say, I reckon we should do a wee figure of 8. So we're in Machrie, go over the moor down in towards Shiskin, cross the Rodden to Torbeg, into Blackwater, back up towards Shiskin, back across the Rodden, and then back by the King's Caves, back to here.
And if we
not actually via the King's Caves, but you know what I mean.
But if there's any other roads and detours, I'm happy to take them because the more time spent on the bike, the better. What I like about the bike is it's good for old guys like us.
And my knee doesn't give me bother on the bike.
It doesn't give me any bother. We know that, but we like the running. But this is a good backup. So this is for anybody who's kind of our age and doesn't know it. The best way to stay fit, and if you're elderly person, which is what we are, because we turned veterans nearly 20 years ago. It's nearly 10 years since we were young enough to be
elderly yet, Dave.
You and I were nearly 10 years ago last young enough to be a veteran.
I know.
We've been too old to be veterans.
Not elderly yet.
Because you stop being veteran at 50.
Extra mature, like cheese.
Next year,
mature, you get extra mature. So maybe we're not extra mature yet. Maybe not extra mature yet.
I'm extra mature. I like it.
Yeah.
I've never been called that before.
Well, extra mature is more tangy.
Okay, I still like it.
Yeah. So we're more tangy.
But I like the extra mature. The extra mature. Dave the Rave.
Not as sweet
extra
and mild,
mature.
but more tangy. That's probably what we are.
So that comes down to the next age category, because when you get past vintage...
Oh, there's vintage, yes.
When you get past super veteran, you get to vintage.
And that's mature, extra mature and vintage. So not vintage yet.
So all cheese varieties there. So, but I'm going to be vintage cheese.
Yeah, I don't think we're vintage yet.
No, it will be next year.
Not quite yet. Well,
the end of next year I'm going to be vintage, which is why I'm going to run up and go film underpants.
Right, anyway, yeah, we've discussed that.
That's extra mature, isn't it? That will be an extra mature.
So you're quite happy with that plan, what we're going to do then?
I think it's a great idea.
As long as it stays dry, again, we can see how it goes, and if it gets really wet or something, then obviously we can make adjustments to the route.
I'm not in a hurry. I've got my dad's old touring bike with me. I call it Tourer.
My
city bike.
Own racing bike, which I think I purchased in about 19... Well,
last century
to mid 1990s.
So it's a last century bike.
Yes, so that would make it what, 23? I think it's about 30 years old. It's still going all right.
Do you know, I was thinking about it, right? I think I might be the first person to be able to claim to have run round the island, gone on round the island on the Waverley in the winter,
right,
and then also round on my own motorbike as well, so I've got a bike licence, and driven around the island. Now, the driving and the motorbike thing's not so...
Have you cycled around the island?
And cycled around the island as well, a couple of times. Sorry, I forgot about that. So I've cycled it as well. So the only one I wasn't sure about is if I've bussed around the island. But anyway, the point is, the two that are really cycling around the island, most people probably haven't done that. The Waverley round the island, they hadn't done it for 10 years and I was on it the other day, so not that many people have done that. But the really rare one is running round the island. And what's the chances of somebody having run round the island, also going round it in Waverley, on their own motorbike, and driven round it, and then also cycled round it? I think it's none.
Just leaves flying around it.
I'm going to take a guess. Flying round it. I'm going to take a guess. Kayaking as well.
Kayaking, kayaking, paddle boarding.
But that's not my list. So, swimming, because there is somebody swimming around the island as well, in the Marsh. I'm going to take a guess. I am the first person to be able to... I am the first person to be claiming to have done those things. I could well actually be the first person to have done those things, but I'm certainly the first to claim it, because I haven't heard anybody else claim it, so...
Well, running, driving and cycling, those three... There might be somebody who's done that.
And then the Waverley, though, that makes it much less unusual.
The Waverley, yes, that makes it even more unusual. The Waverley.
And then motorbike as well. A lot of people don't ride motorbikes. No. So I think the likelihood that if I had to put money on it, I like the gambling thing. I think it's likely I'm the first person. It. I'm just going to take the punt. I'm going to say I am. Like the extra mature person I am. Soon to be vintage. Yeah. That's what I was thinking about. So the whole script for today is this, Gordon, because there isn't a script. What have you been up to lately? Or will I tell you what I've been up to lately?
Well, we do want to be away in the next hour.
Yep. No, I'll done 5 minutes. But
right, okay, you tell me what you've been up to, David. Okay. I probably know what you've been up to because
I've already mentioned them.
You kind of put it out there what you're up to, so I probably know most of what you've been up to.
I used to do videos on YouTube. I've been round Arran on Waverley, which was wonderful.
And it was a nice day, wasn't it?
It was a nice day, but I booked it ahead, and you take the chance, take the gamble, because I was going to go round it anyway. They hadn't done it in 10 years, starting from Brodick, ending in Brodick, and it ended up being sold out. In fact, the Waverleys again had a bumper year. The Highland Games had a bumper year. I think Arran's had a great year. I think that's what's happened here. It's had a really good season.
I've heard a lot of conflicting views on how it's been.
Have you?
And again from my I've seen my work and that it had its moments a year. I'd have to say Glasgow Fair kind of time was busy.
Yep.
And before that not as much. And it's definitely quieting down now because the schools are back. But I think that kind of end of July, start of August was probably noticeably
back
busier.
to old numbers kind of thing. Yeah, busy like the old days.
I think, without bringing up this old chestnut, I think with the ferry things would probably have made slightly lowered the numbers, but that period was noticeably busier. Noticeably busier than before and noticeably busier than now.
Yeah.
And I'd say that Highland Games day was
crazy, mental busy. I've never seen anything like that in Arran.
A lot of the over the fact that they had that roadworks on the Lamlash Brodick Hill on the day of the Arran show, which didn't go down well. There's been a lot of comments in the banner, hadn't there, about from people from the mainland
about the road,
surprised about that.
Yeah,
but and it is.
Well, you've just driven round here on the road, and
the roads are getting better.
They're getting better.
Actually, the more we have these road closures and things, it makes you think about what the roads are actually like. And from my house round here, you can see the definite improvements. And you're thinking, right, okay, there's a few bits which are pretty bad, but on the whole, it's definitely improving.
I'd rather see them fixed up. That's a simple thing for me. I'll take the inconvenience.
The bit between Brodick and Corrie they're doing is well overdue. So once that's done, that road will be pretty good road the whole way.
Yep. But I remember when they did the bit between Whiting Bay and Kildonan, and it was poor condition. Once they'd fixed it, It's wonderful. The whole surface was done between White and Bencaldurham. People forget it. They just take it for granted. I still appreciate that surface when I cycle on it. There's no potholes. It's smooth. It's a lovely surface, and that's been a few years, 2-3 years since they did that, and I still appreciate. You've got to have the glass half full. You know, just appreciate what they're doing, which is fixing the road.
Well, I appreciate it. Just that choice to do that bit of road at that point was a bit surprising. But anyway, it's done. Well, it's not fully done because they made a bit of a mess of some of it, didn't they? On top of the Lamlash Hill.
There's people working on it just now. Well, that's where the traffic lights were.
It rained and it washed away a lot.
Oh, I heard that. Yeah. But nothing's perfect, you know.
But who expects torrential rain in the middle of the school holidays? Yes, we do.
So Waverley. So yes, Waverley. To sum it up quickly, wonderful 4 hours going round Arran. And it does 15 knots, so that makes sense. 60, 65 miles round, something like that. And it was a wonderful experience. It was packed, the boat. It was so busy that it was just, you couldn't sit down and you couldn't really move, even standing up. You just had to stay in the same position. But I was happy to do that. And I was lucky with the weather. I was also lucky because when you get on a boat, you don't know what side to stand on, because the captain keeps it secret which way round Island he's going to go. Right. He makes up his mind, or he doesn't tell you till he leaves. Okay. So I plumped for whatever side I gambled on, and it was the right side. Right, and so the whole way around, I had this wonderful view of Arran, and it was a memorable experience. I got some wonderful photos and some film. So that was the first thing I did. I recommend that to anybody. Yeah, the Waverley finishes in 2 days' time.
Yeah, I know.
Finish for the season.
Maybe next year.
Yep. So that was one. I went to Arran Cars and Coffee, and it was great to see the cars.
Well, I saw photos in Arran Community. There
were some great cars there. AC Cobra, E-Type, Dodge Challenger, all sorts of big, fast cars.
They did well to get that car park in this time of year, because did they have to close off that car park to have it there?
They closed off some of it.
Right, just some of it.
Yeah. So. And then they had the Mazda MX-5, Ayrshire Mazda MX-5 Club over, and all these people that I spoke to are saying they're going to come back again. So I'm keen, because there's no money changing hands there. There's nothing but enthusiasm from people who enjoy cars, unusual cars, classic and sports cars, and everyone had that one thing in common. And the atmosphere was wonderful. It was kind of the same as the atmosphere of the motorbike show I went to at the museum.
Did you not wish you had your wee green? You did a Mazda, didn't you?
I did an MX-5, for nearly 8 years, and it was really great fun. But it was nice.
Good for Arran roads.
Well, it just blasts around corners and things like that. It does, it did put. I taught my friend Matthew how to drive in that car as well. We used to drive around in it with the hood down, even when it was dark, and even when it was rainy, because the rain would go right over top of you as long as you didn't stop. If you stopped, you get soaked. So you had to keep going over 30 miles an hour no matter what. So the car show was the next thing. The Waverley, and the other thing was I went to Easmore Waterfall in Kildonan, High Kildonan, after the downpour we had a few nights ago, which was torrential. I mean, really incredible. There was, looking at XC weather, they had figures like 11 and 12 millimetres in an hour, half an inch in an hour, that kind of numbers. Anyway, I slept right through it all, but it was great to see.
I did actually as well. I didn't. Somebody said, "Oh, the rain last night." I was like,
Yeah.
Didn't realise till I saw the water, and obviously the river in Sannox had gone right up over the bank and washed away path and all this.
Is it? Yeah.
But
right?
I never heard it.
Well, the other thing is, I didn't know about the Sannox River bursting.
Yeah.
I need to see that. That's about if it go past. But both the String and the Ross roads across the island were both closed because of boulders and landslides and trees in the road.
Somebody mentioned that.
Both of them were shut. And so when you think about the Lochranza road being your only road out, if you can't get over the String and the Ross because they're both closed, you would actually be going round 50 miles to get to the co-op, to get 6 miles away from where you are and back again. You'd have to do a 100-mile trip to work and back. That'd be us. We'd be learning about commuting at that point, wouldn't we? What people do in the mainland that we don't have to do. We don't have to do here.
Thank goodness.
Thank goodness we don't have to. Anyway, so to summarise, we're going to take our time on the bikes today. We can't do anything else because I'm on my dad's old tourer. And in fact, what I'll do, I'll get the camera here. I think I'll just go outside for a second, and I'll show where we are and the bikes that we're using. Your old, our old jalopies. Our old jalopies. Right, here we go. That's my dad's old, what I'm calling touring bike. It's too small for me. But I put the saddle and the bars right up. And that is the museum piece, last century Peugeot, which was a great bike in its day.
I used to have a car, Peugeot,
yep,
which was the same colour as that bike.
Is that right?
So
but it's long
been the scrappy car with the same. Yes, it's in the scrap now, I think.
But your bike isn't, and it's a competition 300,
yeah,
eh?
But it's,
legendary.
A wee bit of rust, but it goes well.
Still goes. That's the thing. Doesn't matter, does it? No. We're not racing anybody. And lastly, this is where we are. So we're talking about Machrie Tea Room and Machrie Hall, just up there. Yeah, quite a few cars have left actually since we got there. I was saying it was full. There's another car park behind here as well. See cars up behind the bracken. Cutting the grass over there. I'm going to get run over. I'll just step back off the road. There we go. That is the view, which is a nice clear view now instead of what we had. Well, there's Spoon Island.
That couldn't have been.
That's the Spoon Island there.
Maybe that was Devar.
It was, because that is over there. There.
That's Devar there. That wasn't what
no, that's it there, yeah, you're right. That's it there.
What we were looking at from the tea room. That's a way back up that way.
Unless we're pointing towards. No, I don't know what we're looking at. There's no other islands over there, is there? Davar. Have you been to Davar before?
No.
I've been there. I remember because it's tidal island and you've got to get out there, and then when we were just coming back the tide was coming in and it was coming in rapidly and we had to get a move on or we were going to get cut off, but we made it. But it's not the galloping horse one, you know, you've heard about them, the galloping horse. Where it comes in as fast as a galloping horse. Ooh, a lot of midges here, Gordon.
I know.
I hadn't kind of realised till this second. Anyway, right, that's the view. There's my old jalopy.
That looks nearer than mine.
It is nearer than yours. But it's not faster than yours. We're going about the same pace, which is old guy conversation pace. And we're at Kilpatrick Forestry turn off. Turning around. Well, some amount of midges, and we haven't had a single midge, but of course that's because we've been cycling. And that's the beauty of it. We're cycling, we don't get bitten by midges. Same when you're running, never get bitten by midges. No, I'm not gonna. I just thought I'll cross the road here only because I've seen these wild flowers. Just happen to be there. Aren't they nice? Just doing their thing there. At the roadside. Detoured. Lovely little flowers, little white ones there. And purple and orange ones over there. And all the way along there actually, lots of purple ones up there. You still getting bitten by midges? And the view. So, we've decided we're going to do this more often, didn't we, Gordon? Already.
Well, you've decided.
I've decided. And we never did ask, actually that's the thing, I never did ask you what you've been up to because I just rabbited and then we stopped. So, what have you been up to in the last couple of weeks, Gordon? Have you done anything?
Well, I think I'd say I went to the World Cycling Champs after we had a run. That was brilliant.
In Glasgow.
Top of Montrose Street.
Yeah.
Watching Matthew van der Poel winning that, so that was really good.
That's who won it. What country is he from?
Eh?
What country is he from?
Netherlands.
Netherlands, right.
So yeah, he won it easy.
Oh, yeah.
Strong guy in that kind of course.
And there was an hour delay because there was a protest.
Yeah, because some folk glued themselves to the road.
Crow Road, which is the main road where I was brought up.
Yeah.
I was brought up just beside Crow Road.
So yeah, delayed it for an hour, so it gave me an extra hour hanging about in Glasgow, but a good atmosphere. And the other thing was obviously that run I did.
Alright.
Run I did out to Lagan. And the funny thing was,
Lagan.
On the way there, I witnessed a lorry crash.
Did
and
you?
I had to help two guys out of the cab.
Yeah.
Actually, was there, you know, because you took a picture of that big thing that
The
came
big
to
recovery
lift
truck. Yeah. I didn't film the. Alright. I didn't film the lorry that went off because I didn't want to embarrass the company that had done it.
Yeah, they were both alright. One had a wee cut and a bit of glass. Obviously had to go to hospital. Police were there. Hung a bit till the police arrived, and then
It's a write-off, that truck.
Then disappeared. Yeah, it was pretty bad, but luckily it didn't roll too much.
Yeah.
So kind of crane stopped it rolling.
Yeah.
That was a bit really, and that and working, and
That's all the truck,
anyway,
totally mangled.
Prefer to get on and
right, yeah, we're going to get the midges, okay, that's us. So here we are, there's Gordon. There's Gordon going for it, or was going for it until I stopped him, because we've stopped at the side of the road. Where are we?
Near Immerker.
Near Immerker. And because I've seen a seal sitting on a rock all on its own, and I just thought, well, I'll go and have a look at that wee seal. A brown seal sitting on one rock, one round rock, all on its own. I don't see any others around. I'll get a little bit closer, hopefully. I'll try and get a little bit closer, hopefully not scare the seal. There we go, we're going to the rocky beach. Okay, I think that's close enough. That's not bad, is it? I've only got my wee compact camera here. The seal's looking at me, looking lovely. Comfy sitting on the rock like that. And actually while I am here, we can see right across the Kintyre, and I can see houses, individual houses in the hill there. And a yacht over there. That's nice.